There was a commenter on my channel named Jammy, and I do not right now have his original comments, but I have my response to the discussion we were having. The darker skin of Africa was not evolutionary. We were discussing how Africans came to be and things like that. The darker skin of Africa was not evolutionary. It is based on which family line they descended from. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. If you trace the ancestry and kingly lines of the peoples of the world, you find that they trace back to these 3 sons. Yes, ancient recordings of this king of that land or this country trace back, and if you go back far enough, you find either the names in the Table of Nations in Scripture and or one of the 3 names of Noah's sons. So Jews are Semites. If one hates them, they're anti-Semitic. Jews and Orientals trace back to Shem. Asians is not always the proper term. There are some people who have that look, but they're not from Asia, they're from the Orient. So Jews and Orientals trace back to Shem. They're Semitic. Ham had descendants. Most of these are in Africa or near Africa from everything I've ever seen, it seems like. One of his descendants was Mizraim, and Mizraim is the one who appears to have settled Egypt. I think it's even called the land of Mizraim in some old maps. Others went further south. Some were northeast of Egypt, settling in Canaan. Japheth became the Europeans, so the Europeans record him in their ancestry. If you look at ancient documents, they go back through time. They go back through name after name after name, and you start seeing Bible names. And keep tracing back, and you finally get to Japheth. The name spelling changes as the languages alter over time, so you see his name as Japheth, Japhet, or Eopet. Africans come from the son Ham. His descendants, at least some, are darker skinned. When they continue to split up the families and marry within smaller genetic pools, certain features apparently became more dominant as others recessed or were disappeared from the genetic pool. I mean, they quit marrying into a pool with lighter skin, and so they are left with just the genetics for the darker skin, or it is more dominant than the genetics for the lighter skin. I did see in one of your missing comments that you thought the Native Americans had been here for 10,000 years to 15,000 years. Evolutionists believe this and even teach they go back farther than that, but D.N.A., if D.N.A. science can be trusted, shows that they only appeared here in the Americas more recently. The haplogroup they were tested for was so shocking that I believe the scientist in the video I watched said that they will have to rewrite history. I had presumed that they had been here maybe a few thousand years, but according to the DNA results, they have been here closer to 1,000 years or less. They also found that Americans before the red-skinned tribal people, the previous Americans were white. They trace back their DNA, again if DNA science is good science, to northeast of Israel, like near Turkey. The Omrecs are a people group that were supposed to be here before the red tribes were here, and they have a more Asiatic appearance. So, how long were the Native Americans here? I have no idea.